When you buy the wrong small camper, it's not just a mistake. It's about dealing with the regrets that can cost you thousands afterwards. After owning a small camper for years and touring dozens of different models, I can tell you this: most buyers focus on the wrong things and don't realize it until it's too late. In fact, when my hubby and me bought our very first camper, it lasted for exactly 2 months. And there's a reason for that. Because here's the hard truth: there's no such thing as a perfect small camper. I've camped in mine for weekend trips, 6-week adventures, boondocking, campgrounds, you name it. And what I discovered is what matters at the dealership is very different than what really matters in real camping life. So before you buy one, I want to walk you through 7 things that no one tells you that can save you from an awfully expensive mistake. And later, I'm going to share with you the exact app that I use to find great camping spots, because where you camp matters just as much as buying the right camper. Let's start with number 7. And this one surprises almost everyone. A lot of people assume that if a camper's small, almost any vehicle can tow it. And that's just not always true. And getting this wrong can be both expensive and unsafe. Here's the truth: just because you're shopping for a small camper does not automatically mean that your vehicle is up for the job. And this is what I want you to be very careful, because you should never rely on a dealer to tell you what your vehicle can safely tow. You never want to push your tow vehicle to its limits, because it's about being able to stop safely, handling crosswinds, and staying in control when conditions change. And when you realize after the purchase that your camper was just too heavy for your vehicle to tow, you're going to have a much bigger decision. Either trade the camper back in, and more about this coming up, or buy a new vehicle that can tow it safely. When we bought our first camper, all the towing numbers felt overwhelming and actually kind of confusing. So I made a video that breaks it down in simple terms, and I'll link that video in the description below if you want help walking through it. And that brings me to the next thing, which is one of those things that you really don't understand until you've actually spent time in a camper for a while. And that's tank sizes. It makes sense that when you buy a small camper, you're going to have small tanks. And this one catches a lot of buyers off guard, including myself. When we bought our first camper, I didn't realize just how fast water disappears. Your fresh water tank is what you use for taking showers, brushing your teeth, doing the dishes, everything. And with a small tank, you're not taking daily showers like you do at home. I use body wipes when I take a shower, and then I often will wash my hair in the sink to help me conserve water. And honestly, that works. But after a week or so, I'm really ready to take a real full shower. But there's something else that most first-time buyers don't realize. Even if you're at a campsite that has water hookups, you can only use as much water as your gray tank can hold. Once that tank fills up, you're done. Then when you camp without sewer hookups, which is what we do 99% of the time, your black tank will determine how long you can stay. Mine's 9 gallons, and when I'm camping with my hubby, for the 2 of us, that's about 3 to 4 days. Every small camper does come with different tank sizes. So this is something you must compare before you buy, because tank sizes alone can turn a dream trip into a trip constantly looking for a dump station. Once you understand these limits, choosing the right place to camp becomes even more important. And this is exactly why I use AllStays to plan my camping trips. And this video is sponsored by AllStays, and it's an app that I personally have used for years that helps me quickly find those great camping spots. I can quickly find camping spots, boondocking spots, and overnight stays all on one map. It removes so much of the guesswork, and more importantly, it helps me avoid pulling into a campsite that I'd rather not be at. I've arranged a special 10% savings for you, and I'll put my link in the video description below. Now that you know where you're going to camp, number 5 is about paying close attention to the actual living space that you have inside a tiny camper, because this is exactly where we made our biggest mistake. As I mentioned to you, our very first camper only lasted 2 months. And here's why. On paper, it checked a lot of boxes. But looking back, I can't believe we didn't catch this. Here's the thing. When you're really excited about buying a new camper, It's really easy to focus on the fun features and overlook the things that really matter the most. And I don't want that to happen to you. We only spent a small amount of time inside that camper when we were at the dealership, mostly sitting at the dinette with the salesperson. We knew that my husband was taller than the ceiling height, but because we were sitting, it didn't really seem like a big deal. It wasn't until our very first camping trip that we realized just how uncomfortable it would be to be hunched over every time you got up. And I'll tell you, that got really old the very first day. When you're camping, especially when it's raining and you're going to be stuck inside, comfort matters more than you think. So here's what I want you to do. Don't just walk through a camper. I want you to experience it before you buy it. Bring your spouse, bring your dog, bring everybody that's going to be camping with you. And don't rush it. Sit down and stay a while. Okay, imagine that rainy day and then ask yourself, can everybody comfortably move around in a tiny space without bumping into each other for a weekend or longer trips? Actually sit in the dinette. Does everybody fit comfortably? Then stand in the shower. Is there enough room to use it realistically? Because what's cozy at the dealership can feel really different in real camping life. Then you need to check the bed. Have everyone lie on it. Everybody that's going to be sleeping there, including a dog, if you have one like I do. When you're laying there, ask yourself two things. Is it comfortable and does everyone fit? Now, I've laid on a lot of small camper beds over the years, and a lot of them come with mattresses that are honestly not very comfortable. And when that mattress is sitting directly on a hard surface like plywood, which is very common, getting a good night's sleep can be tough. And that's something I learned the hard way because getting a good night's sleep impacts your whole camping experience. One of the very first upgrades that I made to our camper was installing the Froli Sleep System. And I'll be honest, this completely changed how we sleep. The springs go underneath the mattress and add support and airflow, making it so much more comfortable. It's hands down one of the best upgrades we've ever made, and now I can't imagine sleeping on my mattress in my camper without it. If getting a good night's sleep matters to you, I do have a special discount code that I've linked in the video description below. I've worked with Froli, and my viewers can save 15% if you want to check it out. But regardless of upgrades, don't assume that a camper's bed is actually going to work for you because bedside and layout alone can actually make or break your camping experience. Is it a true queen size bed or is it what I like to call a camper queen size bed? The first camper we bought did not have a true queen size bed. And my husband, he could not actually lay flat on it without his feet bent up against a wall. Comfortable? No. Romantic? Also, no. Oh, how we wanted that first camper to work, and we really tried. But after 2 months, we ended up trading it back in, and we bought our little guy Max. And that experience taught me two things really quickly. First, comfort is not one of those things that you want to compromise on. And second, trading that camper in was a really expensive lesson. Always choose comfort over those shiny features. You'll rarely regret this decision. Yep, I don't believe bigger is better, but too small can absolutely change your entire experience. Okay, now that you figured out the right size, the next thing could be the difference between creating years of lifetime memories versus constant headaches. And that comes down to price versus quality. Here's the reality. Every RV, big or small, is built differently. Some are built to last for years, and some are not, and some are somewhere in between. One of the biggest reasons that I love small campers is that they give you the freedom to venture almost anywhere. But that also is going to mean bumpy roads, uneven terrain, and conditions that are definitely going to test how well that camper's built. If you plan to camp off-grid like I do, even occasionally, you're going to be on roads that are less than perfect. And honestly, some highways and some paved roads aren't that great either. If a camper isn't well built, those miles are going to add up fast, and so are your problems. And having a well-built camper is going to help reduce those problems. And yes, better quality usually comes with a higher price tag. But in my experience, I'd rather go smaller and buy the best built camper that I can afford than going bigger and constantly be dealing with those headaches and those costly repairs. And after you start touring a few campers, you're going to start to feel the difference immediately when you step inside. Some feel real solid and then some feel really flimsy. Now, this next part matters a lot. No matter if you're buying a used or a new camper, always get an inspection. And I'm going to be really clear here. Do not use the dealer's technician. Always hire a third-party RV technician instead. They have zero skin in the game, so they're going to be more honest. Yes, it's going to cost you a little bit up front, but it could virtually save you thousands later. Another thing that I always recommend is to go on Facebook and then actually join groups for the specific camper that you're considering. Read the comments. You'll quickly see patterns, what breaks, how often, and how the manufacturer handles these problems. Also, this is the ideal place to ask questions and get answers from real people who actually own the camper. And people, they love to share their opinions. Talking about build quality isn't glamorous, so I rarely hear people talking about this. But you must pay attention to this and factor it into your final decision. Now, the next thing you need to be concerned about is, where's all your stuff gonna go? Everyone always focuses on inside storage space. And yes, of course, that really matters. But after touring so many small campers, what surprised me the most was the outside storage. And the difference between one trailer and another can be really shocking. And this could absolutely become a deal killer. Because here's the thing. There are going to be certain things that you're not going to want to store inside. Big things like a portable grill, a mighty outdoor rug, tools, leveling blocks, camping chairs. So I want you to picture this. You're really excited and you're packing up for your very first camping trip. And then all of a sudden you realize that you don't have enough outdoor space to take that bulky gear with you that you want to. Ideally, I'm going to suggest that you look for a camper that has pass-through outdoor storage, that exterior storage compartment that runs the full way across. It's going to make loading your gear easier, balancing weight easier, and honestly, make your camping life easier. And I'm not someone that wants to pack the entire house with me when I go, but even if you do pack light, you still need ample outdoor storage space for the essentials. So when you're touring campers, don't just glance at those outdoor storage doors. Actually open them and then ask yourself, will my gear actually fit in there? Smart storage doesn't just make camping easier, it makes setup faster and your campsite less chaotic. Okay, on to number 2, which is something that people always have an opinion on when it comes to small campers: the bathroom. Bathrooms in a small camper can look very different. And what works for one person, it might just be a deal killer for someone else. And if you've been looking at small camper trailers, it's probably good to assume that you've come across something called a wet bath. And that simply means that the shower and the toilet share the same space. And honestly, I've never minded having a wet bath, because if the shower is separate, that space has to come from somewhere else. And I'd rather have more room in the living areas. It really comes down to how you're going to camp and what matters the most to you. Now, when you get close to that 22-foot range, you're going to start to see some small campers offering a dry bath, which means that it has a separate shower. And for some buyers, that's going to be a must-have. But even if you do have a beautiful shower, your tank size is going to determine how long you can actually use it. So before you're going to fall in love with a bathroom, actually think about your camping style. Are you going to be taking quick weekend trips, or do you plan on staying off-grid for a while? I'm really curious. Would you choose a wet bath to gain more living space, or is a dry bath non-negotiable for you? Okay, now that you've thought through all that, the next thing that I want you to consider is something that's going to push a lot of buyers over budget without knowing it, and that's amenities. Here's the reality. Smaller campers mean less amenities than those big rigs. That's why it's really important that you don't let shiny features distract you from the essentials. Instead, I want you to prioritize the amenities that you truly can't camp without, and then write them down. Is cooking something that's going to be part of your camping experience? If so, then having ample kitchen counter space is going to matter to you. You get the idea. The truth is, you're probably never going to find the perfect camper. And this is true for any size RV. But when you ask the right questions and you focus on what really matters, you can avoid those regrets that catch so many others off guard. Now, towing capacity is confusing. I did make a video that breaks it down in simple terms, because getting that right is one of the most important decisions that you're going to have to make. So click here right now to watch this video next.